This is Ray. And so, I guess that in some kind of a way, it falls into like, well, how do we get to this conversation about bull true, you know? And if that's such a like an important thing, like let's talk about the bull true, conversation and everything like that, you know. Now that takes us to this like analogy, you know. Yeah, what do you know? She's like living on she's living on her own planet, or everybody else is living on a different planet or something like that, like the automobiles. And I don't know. That's a little bit deep water for me because I'm not trying to really be political about Nell. I'm not really trying to be political, not to the greatest extent. You know what I mean? But that we're finding out that it could be political. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it would be. Maybe it should be. Maybe it is. It's so Nell, like going off to school, like and breaking up with me like when I went to the academy. It's just like this person at a very young age. It's not like this, it's this person at a very young age who gets involved with some kind of a perspective on relationships, and it's just not really relationships. And so that would not really mean exactly quite that Nell would learn that she would not test the Lord our God. You know what I mean? Because really what it would mean was that, Ray's kind of living in a paradise right now. Ray's kind of living in a paradise, and we don't really understand the life and death and angels in heaven and everything there is to know, or even this guy who lived in the third heaven, like himself, But if you can understand that, that's not what happens to you and your emotions. No, you know what I mean? That's not really what happens with you and your emotions, because, the question about that person it's not really a question if that person is or was like somebody, It's a very strange kind of a question. It's like, what is the question? It's like, what is the question about Ray? Like, we don't know what the question is. What is the question about Ray? You know what I mean? And so this takes you into something, and for me, I would describe that as like that I'm kind of living in a paradise. Because if there's no question, about these kinds of conversations, you know what I mean? These kinds of conversations about people, if the meaning of those conversations would be just like what they are, well, nobody said anything. Nobody said anything to Ray, and nobody said anything to Nell about Ray, is what that means. You know what I mean? Because it's like a question, and it's like the answer to the question is like, well, no, nobody really said anything about not just for kissing or kissing, or is it those people kissing or whatever it is, like that kind of a conversation about people, like, you know what I mean? If it was not for the kissing, would it be a conversation about like people who think they are romantic? Well, no, it's not. It's not this one about people who think they are romantic. And then again, it's not this one about necessarily that thou shalt not test the Lord thy God, Nell Freudenberger. It's just that, okay, so this would mean that if she, and so I'm just like, it's not that it's a little bit contrary to the concept. It's a little bit contrary to saying like that I'm never going to see Nell again. It's like a little bit contrary to that, And so it takes you into something almost for me that's really, that those who believe in Jesus, etc., that we will receive more in both this life and the next. Like, would I see that person ever again? Like, according to my Christianity, well, yeah, that's why it says that, that if you leave your lands, if you make these sacrifices, if you really take sides with Jesus Christ, that you will receive more in both this life and the next. That's one of the reasons why it says that is Nell Freudenberger. You see what I mean? And so this conversation does not have all these open windows. It's not all these open windows that you could climbing in and out through all these open windows in the middle of that conversation. It's just not. You know what I mean? And so would you therefore swear an oath? Or would you swear an oath by heaven, for it is God's throne? Or would you swear an oath by the earth, for it is his footstool? Or would you swear an oath by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king? No, you'd just be like, oh, so Ray, so what's going on? Well, nothing. I mean, I'm just not in that. That's just not my relationship right now with Nell. I mean, I could still move on to something else. It's funny if you think about it, how everything does work out, like in a sense, like if everything works out for everybody, then these people, they're almost living in a paradise. If everything works out for everybody, then I guess Nell Freudenberger is busy with her relationship and I'm just busy with mine, and therefore she could be right about that subject, There's nothing that you could say, okay, so then we have everybody in perspective here with Jesus Christ, as foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head, And where is all the open windows? And where is all the open windows? And where is all the open windows? And that there's just not that, there's just no open windows. And then you're talking about like something, you're talking about like something, but we're not really there. We're not really there yet to this place where me and Nell would finally meet, like in the clouds and holding hands or whatever that is.